Welcome back. We're still with the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Chief Aldogbe. Thank you for joining us once again. Let's look at now the grazing reserve plan. The process still trail this plan. Some have argued that the establishment of ranches rather than reserves, some have even said that states should go against the idea. So we hear this and that. The controversy is just widespread and all that. Are you changing your mind about that plan?
We are going to build giant ranches wherever the state governors are willing to give us land. Before now, we had 400, wherever and whenever. We had 415 grazing reserves, some gazetted, some not gazetted. But most of them have been encroached upon because urban growth, agriculture has been a bit disorganized. Some have been taken over by new cities. Abuja, where we are now, was a grazing route 40, 50 years ago. Cattle from the northwest marched through here, heading south in search of grass. You can no longer call Abuja a route, it's a city with nearly 3 or 4 million people. So those routes and reserves are no longer exactly feasible, not everywhere. Some still exist. If you go to the ranch in Mokwa or one in Ebonyi, there is a ranch there, which we're now going to hand over to the state, develop ranches now instead of reserves. What's the difference? A ranch is a very well manicured area with special grasses grown with water, vet services, and facilities for managing cattle. A reserve is a piece of land you carved out and said, well, leave this place for cows to come and graze. A reserve is no use if it has no grass of high quality. Grass of at least 18% protein and reasonable quantities of amino acids. Because what the cow eats determines your health, as long as you eat beef and drink milk. Now people think that a cow can wander around and chew grass, whatever kind of grass, sometimes even plastics because they're hungry. That won't work. The cow needs a minimum of 150 liters of water per day in Africa because of the temperature. In Europe, it's 100 liters. These cows are marching all the way from Katsina to Lagos, a very short walk, without water to drink. So we have the lowest yield of milk in the world per cow, 1 liter a day. And the quality of beef is something else. We're chewing plastic. The cows have a lot of diseases, tuberculosis and so on. But because we overcook our food, we haven't all died of poisoning. We have to confine these cows in ranches. And those who criticize should be asked, do you know any other country that is strong in the livestock industry that doesn't have ranches? How do you do it? I keep cows. I'm not a Fulani man. You don't have to be Fulani to keep cattle. So we're saying to people, ranches, good water, vet services, and possibly education for the Fulani child, and more comfort for the Fulani housewife who doesn't have to harvest her milk and march distances to find a buyer. And the milk deteriorates very quickly if you don't cool it from the moment you bring it out of the udder of the cow.
The meanings people are reading into all of this is misplaced.
It's misplaced. I don't like the violence. My part of the country has been a victim, Agatu. I'm an Idoma man. I don't like the violence. There has been violence in Enugu. There has been violence in Katsina and in Zamfara. Last year, over 300 people were killed. There's violence all the time, everywhere. We don't like it. We must bring it to an end. But my appeal to Nigerians is, we're not saying all this to punish anyone. We're not saying we want to change the system and keep the cattle in one spot because we are preaching any religion. I'm a Christian. I'm not promoting any religious agenda. And it is not religious, it's economic. We haven't done enough to deal with this matter in the past. And people are asking, why should we spend our money on cattle herdsmen?
Exactly.
We've spent money on cocoa farmers, on cashew farmers, on cassava farmers, on maize farmers, on rice farmers. These are farmers. And we all eat meat.
But people own the cattle.
People own these farms.
Private individuals own the cattle.
Yeah, the rice farms are owned by individuals.
Why can't they be responsible for it?
Now, why should they be responsible if the rice farmer takes support from us, and the coffee farmer takes support from us, and the palm farmer takes support, the cassava farmer? What's wrong with giving some help to these guys and solving a national problem?
Thank you very much, Chief Aldwogbe, for coming on Dateline Abuja.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you for your mails. I'll take a couple of them right away. Let's begin with this one, who comments on the interview I had last week with the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed. Well, Mansour Salisu says, I hope the government will be pragmatic on how to select the candidates for the National Social Development. Now, next is Matthew Ilori, who writes from the Republic of Ireland. He says, the policy on social protection seems good, but the implementation is critical. I want to suggest the registration of beneficiaries with their unique numbers, and it should be an ongoing process. Also, he says, for non-banking areas, the post office, any visible government agency in a locality or cooperative can be used to transfer money to those in the rural areas. The government should also use health centers, primary schools and farmers' association to capture the beneficiaries. Government should be wary so that corrupt persons don't take undue advantage through proxy and ghost registration. Well, those are your views. Keep sending them, and of course, using the email address and Twitter handle on your screen. Let us know anything happening within your locality, especially if you're in the nation's capital. Now, don't you forget, you can watch the program on youtube.com/channelsweb/videos. Make a comment after viewing any of the videos. And don't forget to include your name and location. Thank you for watching this week. I'm Gloria Umezuki. See you next time.